Hi everyone, today's video is going to be a pretty quick power flow, kind of just get right into it and get flowing. I definitely got pretty sweaty, so I hope that you'll practice with me, and if you do enjoy it, please leave a comment down below, subscribe, and like this video. I post new videos every week. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's begin in a wide-legged child's pose, knees wide, feet together, chest falls in between your knees, arms extended out in front of you. Slow down your breath and just kind of ground yourself on your mat. Maybe tent your fingertips and kind of open up your shoulder blades away from your ears to begin to open up your shoulders. And then on your next inhale, roll your body up to a tabletop position with your wrists beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips, and then take some big circles through your hips. Bring your upper body over your wrists. This will just start to warm up our body and warm up our spines a little bit before we get into some more intense movement. And then after you take a couple circles, we'll return back to a neutral tabletop and take a couple rounds of cat-cow. So on your inhale, bring your chin up and arch your back. And then exhale, big arch, chin in towards chest. Inhale, gaze upward, and this will just warm up our spines. Then walk your hands forward, untuck your toes, and come into our first downward facing dog of the practice. Maybe pedal out your knees a little bit just to start to warm up a little bit before we really get going. And then inhale, reach your right leg up and bend your knee to start to open up your hip. And then we're going to take a couple of hip circles going in both directions with that knee still bent. This will just warm up our hip joint. And then re-straighten out your right leg, and then exhale, knee in towards your chest, exhale, back, inhale, knee in towards your chest, exhale, back, inhale, knee in towards your chest, and then step it through your hands, drop your back knee, and we'll come into a low lunge. So hips are squared towards the front of the mat, maybe your hands press onto the top of your knee, and then exhale, send your hip back, straighten out your right leg, and then we're going to flow in between these two poses, so low lunge and runner's stretch with your own breath. Starting to really get some movement here. And then plant your left hand, reach your right arm up, and open up your chest towards your right side. And bring your left knee off of the mat. And then inhale, bring your whole upper body up, and we're going to be in a revolved lunge. Then option to exalt that lunge by bringing your right hand to your left thigh. And then exhale, windmill your hands down, plant your left hand, and then plant your right, step back into a three-legged downward facing dog, and then flip your dog all the way over into Wild Thing. Open your chest, squeeze your glutes, reach your right hand forward, and then exhale, we'll rotate back around into a downward facing dog. Roll your upper body forward into a high plank, and then exhale, chaturanga, and inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet, and then we're going to take it on the other side. So inhale, reach your left leg up, bend your knee, and then take some big circles through your left hip, going in both directions. Just do what feels good here to really warm up your hip joint. Then after you take those circles, we're going to straighten out your left leg again, and then exhale, left knee in towards your chest, inhale, extend, exhale, knee in towards chest, inhale, extend, and then step it in between, drop your back knee, and we're going to take that low lunge on the left side. Again, hips face towards the front of the mat, and then we're going to exhale, send your hips back, straighten out your left leg, inhale, forward, back into the low lunge, and just flow between these two poses a couple times. Focus on your inhales and exhales. And then plant your right hand, lift your right knee off the mat, and open up your chest towards the left side. Maybe rock forward and back. And then inhale, rise all the way up, shoulder stack over hips, left hand forward, right arm back. Maybe exalt your lunge. And then come back down to plant your right hand, lift your left hand up, plant it down, and then we'll come back to a three-legged dog and flip your dog into a wild thing. Press your hips up towards the sky, reach your left arm forward, and then rotate back around into a downward facing dog. And then hop forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up. Maybe take a slight back bend, and then exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step, hop, or float back. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. And then hop forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up, send your hips back, chair pose. Deep breath here, hips sink back. And then bring your hands together at heart center and hook your left elbow on your right knee. And maybe open up your arms or keep your palms together. Yogi's choice. And then come back to center, reach your arms back up. And then shift your weight over to your right foot, send your left foot back, and we'll come into warrior three on the right side. And then we're going to take some pulses. So bring your left knee in towards your right calf and take 5 on this side. And then we'll straighten back out and plant your right hand, reach your left arm up, and open up your hips to the left for a half moon pose. And then option to grab your left foot and take Chapasana here, or just stay in half moon. If it's a little bit tight on your hip, feel free to stay in warrior three. If you did come into it, release your foot back, square your hips again, and then plant your left foot down and come into a high lunge. Shoulders stack over hips, deep bend through your right knee. And then open up, right hand forward, left arm back, and then plant your left hand, step back into a side plank. And we're going to take some twists. So bring your right hand down over to your left side. Keep your core tight. We're going to do 5. And then hold. Bend your right knee and then step it all the way forward to the front of the mat. And we're going to come into a lizard lunge with the right leg outside of your right elbow. Maybe rock forward and back to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. And then step back to a three-legged dog. Bend your right knee. And then we're going to flip our dog again, coming into wild thing. See if you feel a little bit more open this time. Then drop your hips down. And we're going to do a nice forward fold over that left leg. Deep breath here. And then inhale, come back up, press your hips back into wild thing, and then flip all the way over back into a downward facing dog. And then we're going to inhale, left leg forward, and then exhale, we're going to take a couple of knee to nose and knee to elbow. And inhale, extend, and exhale, maybe do a flying split and come back. And then step your foot all the way through into a warrior one. So right foot at a 45-degree angle. And then maybe clasp your hands behind your back, really open up your chest, and then hinge at the hips to forward fold in a humble warrior. Squeeze your glutes, try to keep your shoulders engaged. And then shift your weight over, and we're going to come into a Skandasana on the left side, and then shift your weight over to the right, and back over to the left. You can bring your hands down in front of you if you need, but try to keep them behind your back. And then we're going to rotate all the way forward and step back into a chair pose and take a couple pulses of your right foot back and forward before you land all the way in the chair pose. Release your hands, bring them up above your head, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step, hop, or float back. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. We're moving really quick. Pedal out your feet, and then hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead chair pose, and then bring your palms together and bring your right elbow to your left knee. Option to open up your hands here. And then we'll inhale, come back to center, reach your arms up, shift your weight over to your left foot, and bring your right foot back behind you for warrior 3. And then we're going to take some pulses. So 5 times, take your right knee to your left calf. Keep your glutes engaged, stay strong through your core, and then plant your left hand, open your right hand up, and then open your hips up towards the right. Option to take Shavasana or stay in half moon pose. Squeeze here, stay balanced, and then release. Square your hips back towards the mat, and then plant your back leg for a high lunge. Shoulders stack over hips, and then take your left arm back, right arm forward. Option to stay here, or then we're going to plant our right hand and shift over to a side plank on the right side and take some twists. So left arm comes over to your right side, and we're going to do this 5 times. And then lift your left knee up towards your chest, step it all the way forward, and we're going to come into a lizard lunge. So rock forward and back, knee is outside of your foot, and then we'll step back, bend the knee, and come into a wild thing again on this side. Big breath here, and then drop your hips down, left knee stays bent, right leg extended. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, fold over that straight right leg. Inhale, come back up, plant your right hand, press your hips up, wild thing for 1 breath, and then exhale, come back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, right knee up, right knee to right elbow. Exhale, and then right knee to left elbow, right knee to right elbow, right knee to left elbow. Come back up, then option to take flying splits on the right side, or just take 1 more pulse there. And on your next exhale, step your foot through, pivot your left foot to 45 degrees, and inhale, warrior 1. And then clasp your hands behind your back, open your chest, hinge at the hips, humble warrior. Hold here for 1 more breath, and then pivot your hips so that you can drop down into Skandasana on the right side. Shift your weight, Skandasana on the left side. Option to use your hands to help support you. Shift back to the right. Drop your hips, back to the left 1 more time, and then come back to the front. Face your hips towards the front of the mat, and then step back to a chair pose, but then take your left foot and take some pulses. So forward and back. You should feel this in your glutes. You can keep your hands clasped or release them. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, straighten out your legs, and then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. We're going to take an optional crow pose or just step back through your chaturanga and meet me in downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, pedal out your feet, and then exhale, step your feet to the outsides of your hands into Malasana Yogi Squat. Shift your weight from side to side. Really feel how you can open through your hips here. Big breaths. And then plant your left hand, reach your right arm back, and open up your wings. Option to take a bind around your left leg. Big breaths. Come back to center. Plant your right hand, reach it around. Option to take a bind around your right leg. And then return to center. Straighten out your legs and do a slightly wide-legged forward fold, trying to really get your chest down towards your legs. Then drop your hips back down into a yogi squat and drop your right knee in towards the center, left knee in towards the center. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can just stay in the yogi squat. This is great mobility for your knees and for your hips. Come back to center in the yogi squat. Straighten out your legs, and then step your left foot back. We're going to return to that lizard lunge. Rocking forward and back. Drop your back knee. Rock your hips from side to side. Going to start to slow things down a tiny bit. And then heel toe your right foot over into a pigeon prep pose on the right side. Option to bend your left knee and grab your left foot with your left hand and kind of work that foot towards your glute. Or you can just stay in pigeon, whatever's comfortable. Option to take mermaid or king pigeon, whatever is in your practice and accessible to your body. Big inhale and then exhale, fold over that bent right leg. Work your chest down towards the mat. Maybe you just come onto your forearms. Do what feels good. Walk your hands back in towards your body. Press your hips up and step back into downward facing dog. Hop your feet forward and come into Malasana Yogi Squat. Halfway lift, step your right foot back and take a lizard lunge. So rock forward and back, and then drop your back knee and rock side to side through your hips and through your shoulders. Big breaths. Feel the hip opening, the inner thigh stretch, the hip flexor stretch. And then when you're ready, heel toe your left foot over to the right and come into pigeon prep on this side. Shoulders lightly stack over hips. Maybe bend your right knee. Use your right hand to pull the foot towards your glute. Again, option to take mermaid or king pigeon, or just stay in a normal pigeon prep, whatever feels good in your body. Walk your hands forward, drop your chest down towards the mat. Take a quick moment of relaxation. And then we'll lift our hips up, step the left foot back, and come back into that downward dog. Find your way down onto the mat. Either step through or find your own way and come into a boat pose. And then we're going to do some toe taps. So tap your right toe, then your left toe, right, then left. We're going to do this for 20. Or option to just stay in boat pose or hold on to the backs of your thighs if you're getting pretty tired out by this point. Just do what feels good for you, but definitely try to push yourself a little bit for a bit of a challenge. We'll hold, and then we're going to take some hollow body holds and then hug back in. And we're going to do this for 5, 2, and 1. Hug your knees in towards your chest, and we're going to take some Russian twists. So just left side to right, right, left, 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 and hug your knees in, and then release all the way down onto the mat. Hug your right knee in towards your chest, and then drop it over to the left. Shoulders stack, or hips stack over each other. Shoulders are flat on the mat. Right arm out to the right. And you should feel a little bit of a back crack and a little bit of an opening here. And then we'll come back to center. Switch out your knees. So hug your left knee in towards your chest. Drop it over to the right side. Hips stack on top of each other. Left hand out to the left. Big breath of relaxation. And then we'll come back to center and hug both knees in towards your chest. Maybe grab onto your big toes, straighten out your legs, and then option to stay there or lift your hips off the mat and come into plow pose. So your hips will sort of stack close to over your shoulders, toes touch the ground behind you, and you feel a nice throat lock and restriction of breath in your throat. Slowly lift back out of that, one vertebrae at a time, back onto the mat. Take any final postures that you'd like to and come into Shavasana, the final resting pose. Let your toes fall out to the side. Breath slows down. Please stay here for as long as you would like and as long as you have time. This was a very fast-paced practice, so it's great to take a bit of time to slow things down at the end. For the sake of the video, let's roll back up to seated. Bring your hands together at heart center or on the tops of your knees. Thank you for your practice and for your presence with me today. I hope that you enjoyed and that you can take some of this power and this peace with you into the rest of your day. Namaste.